Killer whales, or orcas as they are officially known, have been swimming on Earth for around 11 million years. Despite their dramatic name, they don't actually hunt humans, so what would happen if they were no longer swimming free in the oceans of the world? Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions, the channel that loves a deep dive into a what if. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today, true to form, I'm asking what if killer whales went extinct? I recently went on a whale watching trip in Victoria, British Columbia in Canada, and I saw a little family of orcas. I was so excited. I learned that male calves of the pod stick with their mothers forever, which is pretty sweet. Mummy's boys. I actually learned a lot of facts that I'm going to pepper throughout this video. I absolutely loved seeing the orcas. It was so incredible. They're so beautiful. So my question to you guys before we get into this video is, have you ever seen an orca or any other kind of whale in real life? Do you know any cool facts about them? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to like this video if you haven't done already, and share it with a friend that needs to learn a little bit more about orcas today. Stick around to the end because I'm going to be replying to some comments. If you want to read more about orcas, then check out the links in our description box where I've placed all of our source links, and you can also find the social medias of everyone who went into making this video. Okay, let's do this. So killer whales, or orcas, these majestic creatures have been swimming around in the ocean for millions of years, long surpassing humans who have been around for 200,000 years or so. Killer whales are an integral part of our ecosystem and can be found around the world, but most predominantly in the Pacific Northwest, the Southern Ocean around Antarctica, coastal Alaska, the North Atlantic, and occasionally they've been spotted on waters off the Gulf of Mexico, the Bahamas, Florida, Hawaii, the Galapagos, and even New Zealand and South Africa. Although they are far spread, there are only around 50,000 killer whales worldwide. Did you know that different pods of orcas from different areas of the world actually speak a different language to one another, which is why whales from different pods in the same tanks at awful places like SeaWorld is such a bad idea. The Pacific Northwest population is in danger, with the numbers decreasing to 76 over the past 20 years. A calf was born in May 2019, which actually was the first successful birth since 2016. It seems that in this area of the world, 70% of orca pregnancies are failing and many are dying at a very, very young age. The reasons for the fall in the population of orcas is linked to the fall in king salmon in the area, meaning that they're a lot hungrier than before. The fall is also due to noisy boats and sonar activity, which makes it hard for the whales to communicate and echolocate under the water in the way that they're used to. This means that they get confused and can't always find food. And of course, they're suffering from the effects of water pollution. While other populations of orcas are not so endangered, pollution is also a massive risk for them. According to a Guardian article from September 2018, a banned chemical called PCB is leaking into the sea, contaminating the world's whales. They're passing this then on to their calves, which are more likely to die. The chemical was widely used in the 1930s in electrical products, plastics, and paints. Now, it was banned in the 1970s and 80s, but while the chemical isn't used anymore, 80% of the products created using it do still exist, and they're leaking the toxin into the ocean. The article says that PCB concentrations found in killer whales can be around 100 times what is considered to be safe, and therefore they could be severely damaged in terms of their reproductive organs. They could contract cancer and their immune systems could be damaged. It seems that the most in danger of PCG are the North Pacific whales, but also the UK's last pods, whales off the coast of Gibraltar, Japan, and Brazil. In fact, zoologist Paul Jepson has claimed that we're living amid a killer whale apocalypse. So what if they did die out? Well, we have already discovered a major reason for the killer whales dying out in the North Pacific, and that is the diminishing amount of king salmon, which is a perfect example of how ecosystems are interlinked. Less salmon has meant less whales, and a lot of people do think, as whales are apex predators, that if they went extinct it wouldn't have a knock-on effect, but actually it would. When whales die, anywhere between 25 to 159 tons of biomatter sinks to the bottom of the ocean in something that we call marine snow. This biological debris brings food to places where it's hard to come by, so if killer whales died out, our deep oceans would become a lot more sparse too. Whales also eat plankton, fish, and sharks, and even seals. Seals, by the way, kill far more humans than so-called killer whales, who have never been reported to have killed or even attacked a human in the wild, and only 2 killer whales have ever harmed humans while they've been captive, which of course is a very stressful environment for them to be in. The excess of animals that would have been preyed on by orcas is far more of a risk to humans than if the animal had never gone extinct. As you can imagine, the food chain would be all out of whack. For example, too much plankton can be disastrous. Too much plankton means that it can form harmful algal blooms which produce toxic compounds that could then hurt fish and shellfish, mammals and birds, and even people. We could be poisoned by eating toxic fish and shellfish from the ocean, and that doesn't sound great, does it? The least of our concerns if killer whales did die out is tourism, but make no mistake, a lot of coastal towns like Victoria where I went enjoy increased tourism as a result of whale presence. Sure, SeaWorld would take a hit too, and luckily they've already started phasing out orcas. I'm honestly sure most of us would much rather SeaWorld went extinct than our world's orcas, but that isn't really the point here. The point is that aside from a possible ecological collapse, the world would lose a brilliant, majestic creature that has been known individually to hold naming ceremonies for their children, creatures that deeply mourn the loss of their dead, creatures that actually have been around for so much longer than we have. So what would that mean? I suppose the short answer is we're probably all somewhat screwed. So that is that. What do you think to the extinction of orcas? Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Before I go, I'm going to be reading some comments from one of my most recent videos, What if the Amazon rainforest never existed? That too would be a crying shame. Pennywise said, I love and will always love jaguars. Good! I can get on board with a good jaguar too, so long as they're not in my actual presence, but yes, very lovely creatures. Black Life said, I've never seen a pink dolphin before. Yes, they are Amazon River dolphins, native to the Amazon River, and they're very, very beautiful and cool, right? Kaidek said, what if Elon Musk was president? Then I'm thinking, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car, and maybe we'll all go to Mars. Actually, that sounds pretty good, right? So guys, that brings me to the end of the video. Don't forget to let me know if you have ever seen an orca or any other kind of whale in real life, and let me know your thoughts and facts if you have any. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, I'll catch you in the next video, but until then, please do stay curious, stay alert, and never ever stop questioning.